All right, fellas, let me tell you how we're going to do this so you guys know what to expect. I'm going to get both of you under oath, and then I'm going to give each of you about 2.5 minutes to give me a little bit of background about why you're here. Mr. Corley, you assumingly would be providing me evidence or testimony, testimony essentially of what led up to this event and what actually happened. And again, this is regarding your allegation here specifically.
What is that?
He's asking you what.
Hold on, folks. Let's
Hello?
Hello? Yeah, I'm still here. Hold tight.
Okay.
All right.
I need.
Hold tight.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So, Mr. Corley, you got an allegation against Mr. Fayez for battery. All right. And that would have occurred according to your application. So, this event occurred on December 8th, 2022. And apparently, this is out of a potential landlord-tenant relationship. Okay. All right. So, fellas, let me get you to raise your right hand. Mr. Corley, raise that right hand. Let me see it for you. All right. I'm going to ask you, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and the penalty and perjury of the law?
I do.
All right. So this again is how we're going to do it. Mr. Corley, I'm going to give you 2.5 minutes to be able to give a breakdown about this event that happened on December 8th, 2022. Right. Battery. I don't mind a little bit of background, but I don't want a whole bunch of what happened to you in high school or college, okay? Because people like to go on those tangents. Mr. Fayez, I'm going to give you an opportunity to also give an opening statement regarding your position. Once you complete that, Mr. Corley, I'm going to give you an opportunity to introduce any type of physical evidence that you've emailed the court or any testimony from any witnesses that you intend to introduce. And then, Mr. Fayez, I'm going to give you an opportunity to cross-examine Mr. Corley or any of his witnesses that he intends to introduce. And then, Mr. Fayez, I'm going to give you an opportunity to introduce any witnesses that you have and any evidence that you may have. And then I'm going to give Mr. Corley an opportunity to cross-examine those folks, right? And then after conclusion of that evidence, I will allow folks to do a short closing statement of about 2 minutes of why they believe an arrest warrant should be issued or not issued. And then at the conclusion of that matter, I'll make a determination, all right? So keep that in mind. If I issue an arrest warrant, I will give you guys additional information about that. All right, Mr. Fayez, I'm going to go ahead and get you on mute, and I'm going to allow Mr. Corley. Right now, it is 7:02. I'm going to give you, Mr. Corley, till 7:05 to go ahead and complete your opening statement.
Well, Judge, Your Honor, I'd much rather have an attorney to represent me because I'm disabled and I don't want to say something that's wrong, and I'm going to be honest about it. But I'd much rather be represented by an attorney.
So remember, you're the applicant. So if you want an attorney to represent you in pursuit of this matter, that would be your prerogative. I'm happy to continue it, but just remember that you have been noticed. Mr. Fayez is here. You are not here. You are not here with your counsel, and you had all the notice because you're the one bringing the matter, right? You're not the defendant. You don't necessarily have this. You have the rights, but you're not actually the person being pursued for a charge. So just want to make sure you understand. Do you feel capable of presenting the evidence in this case for the allegation that you're making against Mr. Fayez?
I can tell you the truth of what happened.
Well, that's all I want to know. Now, if you want counsel now, you are intended to have counsel. I mean, it's a little different because you're not the defendant, but if you want counsel.
Okay, I can tell you what happened.
Well, it's up to you.
Yes, I can. I will.
All right. Well, look, now it's 7:04. I'm going to give you to 7:07. Now, I just want to make sure now you are okay with proceeding without an attorney. You're not the defendant, at least not according to my calendar. You're not the
Okay.
respondent. Are you okay proceeding today?
I'll proceed, Judge.
All right, well then, again, now it is essentially 7:05. I'm gonna give you till 7:07 again, 2.5 minutes or so. Go ahead, tell me what's going on about the December 8th, 2022 event of battery.
I came home. I came downstairs, going to my room or heading toward, I was really moving. I wanted to go to the bathroom because I have, I was holding myself, trying to get in the house to go to the bathroom. Rad Fayez came running from upstairs, downstairs, past me. Because I'm a little disabled when I don't move down the stairs so fast. He went past me and got to the house, to the door in the bottom before me. When I came down, I told him, he said, "You're not going in my house." This is what he said to me. I said, "Well, I got to go to the bathroom. I don't know." I said, "I got to go to the bathroom." He says to me, "Well, you can go in the woods or you can go on yourself, but you're not going in my house." That's what he said to me. So I'm in the middle of this here, and I said, "Well, I paid the rent. Why I can't go? What is it? I want to go to." Anyway, I started to put my key in the door, and he attacked me and wrestled the keys from me. And I, in the course of this scuffle, I made number one and number two all over myself. And then after that, he took the keys and left me there like that. And then I'm like in this state, I'm banging on the door. And then the other guy that was living downstairs, Zero, he came to the door and opened the door for me. And I went into the bathroom and cleaned myself up. And then that's when I called the police. And that's when, the ambulance came. And that's when I went to the hospital. That's what happened.
Okay. All right, thank you. I'm gonna put you on mute. I'm gonna allow Mr. Fayez to tell me as well what happened that day. Mr. Fayez? You gotta take yourself off mute though, sir.
Okay, thank you. Yes, he did not live there anymore. He had moved on November the 20th, and he was living over, I think, in a masjid called Masjid Mukmanoon. He was staying over there, had not been there. All of a sudden, it was not 12 a.m. at night. It was like 7 a.m. in the morning. And a truck, a van came, which is a van, the transport van who transports him because he goes back and forth to the hospital all the time, came there, and he came off that van, off that truck. And so I'm wondering, I had the keys from him already. The only thing he had there was his things. He already had moved. It was a furnished room. He was a paid guest. So the reason why he was evicted, or when I say evicted, he just left because we had an agreement. And we know the imam, both of us know the imam, so he left on his own. My daughter, he would come down in the kitchen butt naked, several times, butt naked. She's on the line, butt naked, and very insulting. So I found out from his caretaker that sometimes he has psychological problems. So I don't know all these things, but his caretaker's he's called a caretaker. He's really just a close friend, but he's a caretaker, and he had shared with me a few things about him that I didn't even know. He was put out of 2 different masjid. They banned him from there. He had tried to get money from one. He got money for Farouk on 14th Street, I think about 10 grand. So I didn't know. And so when the medics came, they knew him. They said, "Corey, you still doing this?" That's what they said. The police was standing right there. The police looked at him. Corey put his head down. The police looked at him and both of them just left. The firemen there was policemen, and I think there was also the medics was the last ones that came. There's also the firemen and police. The medics was the last ones, and they said, "They knew him. Mr. Corey, you still doing this?" That's
So listen.
my daughter's on the line, so she can confirm what he did. So that's the one reason. And plus, he owed money. He owed $400. He hadn't paid.
Well,
all-
hold on, hold
I didn't
on.
report the money.
We're gonna get to it, but I want you to respect the court's time because obviously you're saying a couple of things. And I want to give an opportunity for folks to testify.
Okay.
And so to do evidence. So just give me a second. I'm gonna let you say more, but usually it's gonna come through some testimony. So hold tight. So the court gets a little bit of what you're talking about. So what I'm gonna do, Mr. Corley, I understand when we announced, thank you, Mr. Fives, but when we announced, you said you had evidence. What evidence did you submit to the court? So I can make sure I can pull it up.
Well, the evidence that I have is the fact that that he attacked me,
Hospital.
and I went to the hospital. That and the Imam Furqan Muhammad came to the hospital and picked me up from the hospital, and that's when the first time I went, I was staying right there where I was living. I didn't have another place to live, but I called the Imam.
Well, hold on, because you're now just giving me more and more, which I understand you have no witnesses, but you had indicated to me earlier that you had some evidence.
I submitted the paperwork that I have, and to recall what happened to me, so I can, because sometimes, I'm just in a situation that I was attacked. He attacked me. He assaulted me and took the keys from me. And all my stuff is still in the house. All my clothes, all my mail.
Hold on. I'm going to ask some more questions shortly. Clerk, did Mr. Corley submit any evidence or an email to you?
Judge, the only evidence that was submitted was what was attached with application and the request that he wanted to continue this hearing tonight for another date, but nothing else.
Okay. All right, so Mr. Corley, you didn't submit any other physical evidence, did you?
I had paperwork that I sent there, and I got the receipts from the post office where it was sent back to me for return mail. I mean, because I sent stuff to the courts in reference to the situation and where they have to sign for it, and in order for to know that they received it. I have those receipts with me, that I've sent to the courts in reference to the situation to explain what happened and trying to understand, what's going on. Okay. And that's why I said I asked for it, because it's so confusing to me.
Well, hold on, Mr. Corley, hold tight. All right, so let me just make sure I understand, because I still want to be able to make sure that folks like Mr. Fayez gets an opportunity to defend himself against these allegations. All right, so I have looked at the documents that you provided, but I don't see anything other than the report that was originally made. I do see they essentially state the allegations that you're currently making now, but there were nothing in there that you supplied to the court that was any evidence of the event of the battery that you're alleging that Mr. Fayez provided. What? No, or committed against you.
Where I'm going to the doctor now. I went to Emory Hospital from there. I haven't been back to that place since he attacked me.
I understand, and I understand the police report as well that was reviewed said that there were no visible injury, but that's okay. That doesn't mean that a touching didn't happen. Battery didn't happen. So if you don't have
okay, I'm listening, Judge.
Do you have any evidence other than what you submitted to the court in your initial application of the battery?
Well, this was I don't, as far as that's concerned, the facts, the records speak for themselves. The records speak for themselves. There's records of everything that I'm saying, and Imam Furqan Muhammad can witness it, that he picked me up at the hospital, and I wasn't living in the masjid. I was living right there.
Okay. All right. Well, let me hear from Mr. Fayez. Mr. Fayez, this is what we're going to do. Mr. Corley does not have any witnesses or evidence here at this evening, but that's okay. He's still going to have an opportunity to ask you questions and any witnesses that you introduce.
Yeah.
And so what is going to happen is, you are free now to ask Mr. Corley any cross-examination questions that associated with this December 8th incident, based upon his testimony about what happened. And then I will give you an opportunity, if need be, to go ahead and introduce your witnesses. And any testimony that you may have, you do not have to testify, but nonetheless, any testimony that you may have. And then we can make a determination about whether or not an arrest warrant should issue. So, Mr. Corley, Mr. Fias is going to ask you some direct questions. I'm going to give you 5 minutes, Mr. Fias, and no more, to be able to ask Mr. Corley any direct examination questions. Direct examination questions are questions that are essentially direct. Isn't it true? You did this, correct? Those kinds of questions. I mean, you're free to ask open-ended questions. But this is an effort to see whether or not there's any testimony that you would like to elicit from Mr. Corley based upon his testimony. I'm going to give you that time, Mr. Fias. Mr. Corley, I would ask that you respond to Mr. Fias's questions, and we'll go from there. The floor is yours.
Mr. Corey, the police was right there, and you told them that your hand was felt as though it was bruised, and they checked you out. They looked at you, and they didn't even. The reason why they didn't put anything to report because they realized there was nothing there. The keys that I got was trying.
Well,
to
hold
get
on,
to
wait. You're asking a really long compound question. So
Okay,
let's
I'm
shorten it
sorry.
up.
The
What are you
short
trying to
one was-
ask
the
him?
short one was the police recognized that there was no injury to you, sir.
That's
Mr.
not,
Corley, he's asking, do you admit that there's no injury to you?
that's,
The
I
police-
was injured, I was hurt, and I was injured, and I don't have the keys to the house. He took the keys, we struggled, and he took the keys from me, and I doodled and pee-peed all over myself. That's exactly what happened, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Fias, do you have another question for Mr.
Yeah,
Corley?
I wanted to say about the poo-poo and the doo-doo, whatever he did. There were medics there, the police was there, and the firemen. Nobody ran away because nothing was smelling. So you had some good smelling poo-poo. I want to say that much. And pee too, because you would have been
Mr. Fias,
stupid.
this isn't an opportunity for you to testify.
Okay.
This is an opportunity for you to ask Mr. Corley some questions.
I don't even know where he got that set of keys at. I had already had the set of keys he originally had because he was not staying there since November the 20th. I don't know where he was staying. I thought he was at the man.
Okay, again, listen. Ask him a question. If you don't want to ask him any more questions,
The question is that I have.
now, the questions don't start with I. So ask him a question.
The question is, where were you staying at all that time?
I
Where
was
were you
staying. I was staying right there until the day of you attacking me and taking my key. Anything else other than that, you're telling not the truth. I'm telling you in your face, you are telling a lie.
My daughter
That's
was
what
there.
you're doing.
My daughter was there.
Because
Well,
you
hold on,
did-
don't talk over him, Mr. Fias. You don't need to tell him anything. You're just questioning him. Let's get a couple more questions before you complete. Do you have any other questions?
Mr. Corey, have you been butt naked several times in the kitchen in front of my daughter?
No, I haven't. That's not the truth.
And others-
I'm
others
a
did also
Muslim
as well.
and I keep myself covered. I'm a Muslim and I keep myself covered. I've never been in the nude around there for anyone to see me. Not only your daughter, nobody, any of the people that was living, they've never seen me in the nude because I guard my privacy. I'm a Muslim, brother.
Well, you must be losing your mind then because my daughter said several times that you and others have seen you
Who?
butt naked, not naked, but butt naked.
That's
And
not
you
the truth.
apologize.
Oh, wait,
Why
guys,
You also apologize.
One last question, Mr. Fias, do you have for Mr. Corley?
Okay.
Why you put him out there?
Mr. Corey, you called me and I got the voicemail. And you said to me, that everything was fine, that all you wanted to do was just, when could you pick your stuff up. Miss Nasir, you went and picked the things up, which she called me a few times to pick your stuff up. And
That's
that was
not-
it. We had talked no other time. There was no
You're
friction.
not telling the truth, my man. I mean,
All right. Well, listen, Mr. Fayez, you guys are not really asking each other questions here. So that's obviously not giving us any information for me to make a determination. So this is what I'm going to do. Mr. Corley, I'm going to give you an opportunity to cross-examine Mr. Fayez. Before we do that, Mr. Fayez, is there anybody that you have testimony for that knows about the incident that we're here about today? I don't need somebody being a witness. That's just a witness to your character being a good person. I need to know, is there any witness that you have this evening that can actually comment on the events that are in question this evening?
Mr. Judge,
Mhm.
Your Honor, my daughter is a witness to him being the way he was in that kitchen. So she can,
What about the battery that we're alleged? I'm not talking about
nobody there. Nobody there. Was him and I.
So there was nobody there. So none of your witnesses can comment to what occurred on that date of incident.
No, sir. That's correct.
And
And
what
it was not at 12 a.m. It was 7 a.m. in the morning. They have a
No,
record of
listen
it.
to
The
this.
fire department and the Bennett's
Wait,
have a record of that.
hold tight.
Check the records. They can look at the time.
Individuals that you intend to provide testimony for, what are they going to tell the court?
My witnesses.
Yeah, what are they gonna, why are they valuable to you?
Tell
To
you
your case?
of the havoc of trouble I've had with the gentleman, with Mr. Corey, and also about him, his situation and how he's talked about and told stories about other things. I really don't think he intended to tell any stories. I think he's just his mind goes like that.
Well, hold on. Wait, again, I don't need to hear all of that. That's
Okay,
not
good.
necessarily what I'm going to. What I'm again concerned about is this alleged battery that occurred on the date of incident. There are a whole lot of other issues obviously surrounding this matter, but I'm really more so concerned about the battery. I do have some other questions, but I first want to get through any evidence associated with the battery. So if the folks you plan on introducing didn't see nothing, don't know nothing, and you don't got no photos, no video or any of this incident, then I don't know how they're really relevant to the facts associated with this incident. Can you provide me some other information to tell me why I should let them testify? I couldn't hear you. There was apparently a train going by.
Okay. Yeah. The only thing that they could testify, that my daughter could testify, is him being nude in the kitchen. That's the only thing.
But what about this other individual that you claim as a caretaker?
The other individual knows Mr. Corey's character and incidents, all these incidents for over 20 years.
Yeah, that would be inappropriate. Okay, so this is what we're going to do then. I'm going to allow Mr. Corley to cross-examine you. Mr. Corley, you're going to be able to cross-examine Mr. Fayez for 5 minutes at 7:23. I'll give you till 7:28. And then I'm going to ask both of you some questions, and then I'm going to allow you to do a closing statement, okay? So Mr. Corley, as I've said before, the same applies for you. For Mr. Fayez, you're free to ask him direct examination questions like didn't you, isn't it true? And clock starts now. Floor is yours, Mr. Corley, for Mr. Fayez.
okay, well, my caregiver was supposed to handle,
No.
but he's in the picture because
No,
that's
Mr. Corley, you're not understanding. I
What?
need you to ask Mr. Fayez questions.
where's okay, Mr. Fayez, where's my keys to the house that you took from me?
You didn't have any keys. You gave me the keys. Those keys, you must have made up a second pair of keys. You didn't have any keys. You know that. Those keys you must have made up
How did I get in it?
when you left the house?
Okay. Well, let me ask you this question, Fayez. How did I get in and out the house? That's the first time that I was refused admittance by you. That was the first time when you attacked me. You took the keys from me.
Because
I never was refused.
Wait, Mr. Corley, let him answer.
Because you had moved, you were not, you no
I
longer had
didn't.
lived there.
Let him answer.
November, since the latter part of November, around November the 20th, is when you no longer had lived there. You hadn't paid. I told you I didn't want any money from you. So, you remember you hadn't paid, and Mr. Nasir can bear witness to that because you tried to borrow money from him.
I didn't try to borrow any money from him. That's not the truth.
You borrowed money from
Okay,
him.
well, wait, Mr. Fires.
That's not the truth.
Mr. Corley, you don't need to tell him that that's not the truth. I can determine whether or not I believe it or not. So do you have another question for Mr. Fires?
What did I do to make you attack me?
Sir, no one attacked you. That's why the policemen realized that you were not attacked. They saw everything. They found the keys in the grass. Then when
They did not find the keys.
Yes,
They did not find the
You
keys.
can allow you, please let him answer.
Okay, I'm sorry, Judge.
Found the keys in the grass. The policemen found the keys in the grass. That's on record.
Well, he didn't give it to me. He didn't give them to me.
That's on record.
Okay, Mr. Corley, you don't need to comment after he makes every answer.
All right, but I don't.
That's the question.
You don't, just because you don't like what he says doesn't mean that you need to make a whole response.
Okay, all right, Judge. All right, I see what you said.
Y'all are grown men. Y'all can listen. We all grown men right here on this screen. You can ask questions and be able to listen to what he says without immediately responding. You know why? That's why most folks end up getting, because they can't hold themselves. They want to immediately respond. So let's just be a little patient with each other, right? So ask and go ahead and ask your last two questions for Mr. Fire.
How did I get in the house? That night, did you attack me? How did I get in the house?
Mr. Zero opened the door. And you said that earlier, that Mr. Zero opened the door. And he said, had you known that he thought you was with me, had he known, he would not open the door because he know you had already moved.
Is he still living there?
No, he's no longer there.
There's been, it's been rumors that you've done the same thing to a lot of everybody that.
Wait, Mr. Corley, hold tight. That's not a question. That's a whole testimony.
Okay, Judge. Let me ask him this question: Is Harvey still there?
Mr. Harvey is still there.
Okay. Why you didn't bring him as a witness? He was there. He came there. It was two people that came in that apartment after I moved in there. I've been in there over a year. My caregiver. Yeah.
What's your question to Mr. Fires? You're gonna get an opportunity to say what you need to say at the end. I just need you to have a question for Mr. Fires. And now you pushed yourself on. Last question.
Did you not say to me that I could go on in the woods, or I can go on myself, but I'm not going into your house? Did you not say that to me?
Yes, sir, because you no longer live there, sir.
All right. I'm going to ask a couple questions of you guys, just for information purposes. Mr. Fires, you told me that there was an agreement that you and Mr. Corley reached in order for him to vacate. When was that?
It was in November. I think I have the text in November. I had been saying it since really October. Mr. Nasir, who's considered sort of a caretaker for over 20 years, would call me and say he's looking for a place for Mr.
Hold on, listen, you're giving me a lot of background.
I'm sorry. I'm just saying that he said that
listen, I'm gonna ask you some very simple questions. Hold tight. This is for me. I need to know what's going on.
Go ahead.
Because this is also a landlord-tenant issue. So I just want to make sure that we understand what's going on. So you told me, or you're telling the court, that he voluntarily vacated the property.
That's correct.
Right? And when did he voluntarily vacate?
It was about November the 20th.
Okay, and this incident happened on December 8th. All right. Did any of his personal property still remain in this property?
No, it remains in the garage. It had been left
Okay.
his room, but it's in the garage, and they was and several times.
Wait.
Several times
I
he
like
was
to do
supposed pick
things
it
in
up.
bite-sized parts, bite size. You want to give me a meal. I want a snack. Okay. Too tight. I want a snack of info. So he apparently moved out on November 20th. Did you file a dispossessory action?
No, I didn't have to because it was voluntary.
And because it was, but he still had property in the premises.
No, he just had clothing, no property. It was all furnished. It was all my property.
But clothing is property. Did he have
Okay, so
anything else?
Yes, and they were supposed to pick it up. Mr. Nasir was supposed to pick it up a few times. That's
Okay,
correct.
and they didn't pick it up. Did he ever return the keys to you?
The keys, I didn't get those. I don't remember what happened to the keys, to be honest with you. After that incident.
So is that a yes or a no? Did he return? Listen to me. Why are you trying to overtalk me?
I'm not.
You think that helps you? No. So when did you get the keys back?
About November the 20th.
The same day that he's around the same time he vacated?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you're saying for about 2 weeks or so or more, 3 weeks, he wasn't at the property and then came back with the key to try to get in. And why were you there? Do you live there as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you live there as well. And all of his personal possessions that are far as physical, like his clothes, were in the garage.
Yes, sir.
And no eviction was obtained, no dispossessory, no writ of possession.
Didn't have to do any dispossessory, nothing at all like that.
Okay, and you didn't, all right. Mr. Corley, when's the last time you slept at this house?
The night before the 8th, I was there the night before. I slept there.
Okay.
And when I came back on the 8th is when all this occurred.
All right, hold tight. Mr. Fayez, when's the last time that Mr. Corley sleep at this property?
He hadn't been there since November the 20th. No one has seen him. Even the gentleman he spoke of that still lives there, Harvey.
So so to your knowledge, he never hasn't slept there since the 20th and been there since the 20th. Okay. All right. This is what I'm going to do for you fellas. I'm going to give you an opportunity to tell me, Mr. Corley, first, why you believe an arrest warrant should issue. Mr. Fayez, I'm then going to give you an opportunity to respond to that. I'm going to give each of you about 2.5 minutes. You don't have to use the 2.5 minutes if you don't need to. Of telling me why you believe Mr. Corley, the arrest warrant should issue, and Mr. Fayez, assumingly, why the arrest warrant shouldn't issue. We'll start with Mr. Corley. Mr. Corley, tell the court why this arrest warrant should be issued against Mr. Fayez.
Because he attacked me and took the keys from me, wrestled my hand. I'm going to the doctor right now about my arm and my hand that he hurt. And I went to the hospital. I have, did the records speak for themselves? I didn't, he attacked me and hurt me. And he put me out of his house. And I haven't been back there since. All my clothes, all my medicine, I had money in the room that I never retrieved, and I haven't been back there since. That's why I think he needs to be arrested for violating the law in reference to tenants' rights. He illegally evicted me and assaulted me.
Wow.
And that's it.
All right. Mr. Fayez, you have any response?
Yes. The medics were there. They were taking him to the hospital, not for any bruises or anything. They were taking him to the hospital because he said he was sick. He didn't feel good at all. He talked to the man Furkan was on the phone. He was on the phone with him. And he wasn't sick. He wasn't going for no hand or no wrist, nothing like that. He was going because he goes to the hospital all the time. He calls the policeman and tell them that he just wants them to help get his family together. And the police ask him why they call him. That's all I want to say.
All right. Well, a couple things. First things first. I'm not going to make a predetermined judgment on the landlord-tenant issue, but I do have my concerns. But that's not the issue that's before us today. The issue before us is about a battery, and obviously it does involve a landlord-tenant relationship. So there does seem to be some sort of blurring of issues. But Mr. Corley, what I will tell you in the basis of this probable cause hearing, effectively, is that I don't have any witnesses from you, brother. I don't have no witnesses. I don't have no testimony. I don't have no physical evidence. And the police report that I read said that there were no visible injuries to you when they came and saw you, and that the reason why you went to the hospital based upon your own statement was obviously the issues of you having the defecation and urination. So with that, and wait, just let me finish. Without
Okay.
any evidence to support that there was actually an offensive touching, I really don't have any means to be able to issue an arrest warrant. And so with that, I am going to not issue an arrest warrant, and I will be dismissing the application. But as I said, fellas, the landlord tenant issue is another issue that's not before me, but I got some more questions, but those questions won't be answered this evening. And with that, that'll be the order of the court, and you fellas are free to go.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Corley. Thank